couple of weeks ago. Pastor Jamal Bryant I was discussing this at his church, and he talked about that. We're getting him on the line any moment now, folks. Let me know where he is. And the reason, and you know, John Hope Bryant, of course, with Operation Hope, tells a story as well. That when it was a group of young men who were sort of arguing back and forth about clothing and style, and so John said, "Well, here's what I'm going to do: I'm going to give each one of you guys $200, and you get to decide how you want to spend it." And a couple of brothers were saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go buy me these Nikes," and so and they were dissing this other young brother because he was not going to do that. And John tried to step in. The brother said, "No, Mr. Brown, it's cool." He said, "I want them to go buy Nike because I'm gonna take my money and go buy some Nike stock. So as these fools keep buying shoes, my stock is going to appreciate and keep going up as a result." He says, "No, leave them alone. Let them do exactly what they're doing." And that to me, again, changes the conversation. I've said for years that look, if you want to help your child out, go get you a Nike box, empty it, and then put the stock certificate in that box to get them to understand. Because Nike stock initially went down, but other apparel company stock went down, of course, right after they made the announcement of Colin Kaepernick being the face of their Just Do It campaign. But in 2 weeks later, it's actually hit its highest ever, $83.30, which shows you again that they understood the call they were making, Spencer. That they were not worried about the initial backlash from right-wing folks and Donald Trump.
Right. It's the right thing to do, but it was also the right thing to do economically. The big thing in terms of our folks is that we definitely, have been consumers. And how can we be both owners and producers? And that's what comes into play when we talk about owning stock and also owning businesses, right?
That's right. And recognizing our own political power and economic power is that the power of the black dollar still matters, and us being able to show that their stocks can go up because we invest in people who support our social justice activists, agendas and movements is really important for us to understand.
And just remember, it was only 20 years ago when our young boys, black boys and men were being killed in alleyways and on the street because they had on a certain pair of tennis shoes. $200, $150, $200, $250 tennis shoes that they were being slaughtered and killed for on the streets of our cities, largely by other black folks because they had on a new pair of Nikes.
Let's go to our video right now. It's Pastor Jamal Bryant. Pastor Bryant, how you doing?
Doing well. Good afternoon.
And so a couple of weeks ago, as opposed to folks running out buying Nike gear, you made it clear that your members should be buying Nike stock.
Absolutely. I think that when you put into perspective that Black Americans are the nation's #1 consumers, but the least in terms of investors of any ethnicity, we had to change the narrative. So in between all three of our services, we had African-American stockbrokers helping our members to open up portfolios for their children, particularly their sons, to just tell them the amount that you would pay for a pair of Jordans, use that to start an investment portfolio for your children. And it was an overwhelming success.
How was it received? Because obviously that's a whole different thought process. Some people are all about looks, all about clothing and how other people receive that. That they're not necessarily seeing the value, if you will, of a stock certificate.
Here's what's amazing, Roland, is all summer I've been doing a series called Getting Out of the Red, Ridiculous Economic Decisions about investing, saving, and entrepreneurship. And the Sunday before Nike made the announcement, I ended the series. So when Nike made the announcement, I said, now we can go from theory into practice. So everything I told you, June, July, and August, let's put it into focus in September. So it was almost serendipitous by God's hand that they were primed for what we were getting ready to do.
Henry, go to my iPad. What you will see here, again, we talked about Nike stock. This is the closing bell today. Nike stock is up 2.4%, up $2, up to $85.26. And as you can see from this particular chart, when they were, this was just this morning, how it's gone up. And they have done quite well over the past couple of weeks since the initial decision to align with Colin Kaepernick. I think they are making some fools of folks like Clay Travis, a right-wing sports journalist, and others who said this was economic suicide for them to align with Colin Kaepernick and to so-called diss first responders and police officers.
I think that this speaks to what the Urban League has been talking about for years, and that is the spending power of African Americans. State of Black America that comes out annually always gives us a riveting insight on what kind of capital we have if we would just focus it and target it. And I think that the next step that I've been teaching here in Baltimore is not just the investment into Nike, but how do we invest into Black-owned companies? Now that your eyes are open, now that you know that it's possible, and you're getting money from the investment and that you see that it works, I pray that this will become a trickle down to have an impact of economic revival in our community.
And Jamal, and have you been having conversations with other pastors trying to get them to also have these type of conversations? And again, getting folks to understand, as opposed to buying certain goods, to actually buy the stock of those companies. So when other folks are buying it, they're actually making the money. And this is something you can actually pass on to your children, because you sure as hell can't pass on a beat up pair of Nikes.
Here's what's amazing, Roland, and you'll find this funny. I didn't find preachers wanting to become a part of it until they saw that Nike sent me a shipment of limited edition shoes to thank me for having my congregation to make that investment. And preachers started asking, how did you get those shoes?
So wait a minute, So you have these preachers who, like young folk, more concerned about the limited edition shoes as opposed to the message that you were preaching.
It's a whole nother show, Roland. It's a whole nother show.
And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and, of course, let me go to, I'm going to pull this up right now because you mentioned that. And let's see here. I'm going to find that photo. So here we go to my iPhone, please.
Oh, God.
And so this is, of course, the photo here that you actually, so it was a limited edition Vogue Jumpman 23 shoes. And
they sent me those, and they sent me the Kaepernicks. You got to see them, Roland. You're going to be hating. I'm going to get you a pair.
Okay, why don't you do that? Since I've been touting, telling black folks to buy Nike stock for at least 10 years now. And so tell Nike to send me some damn stock. I don't want a pair of shoes. Tell Nike to send me.
Tell them to send you the stock and send the preachers the shoes.
The preachers, that's fine. They can wear the shoes, but I'll go here and I'll keep the stock. That's what I'll do. All right, Jamal Bryant, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot
for having me.
All right, then.